Scaling your law firm doesn't have to be difficult. It's all about mastering a few key strategies, systems, and mindsets. Welcome to the Scalable Law Podcast, where we talk about how you can increase profit in your pocket and time in your calendar. My name is Carolee Fontanelli, and I have successfully scaled my firm so that it doesn't solely rely on me. Now I love teaching other law firm owners how to do the same. Let's transform your business starting now. Welcome to another episode of the Scalable Law Podcast. So excited that you are here today. We have got an amazing guest with us, and we're going to talk all things starting a law firm and marketing. She has gone from starting a law firm to having an in-house marketing team to moving that in-house marketing team out into a separate business where she is serving law firm owners as a marketing agency. You are in for a treat. There are so many tidbits, and you're really going to want to have your pen and paper out as she talks through a whole lot of strategy around marketing your law firm. But before we get started, I would love to remind you that it would be amazing if you listen to this podcast on a regular basis. If you would scroll down below and leave a review for me, it's super helpful. And it's so weird because I sit here talking into the microphone and I don't actually know who's listening. So I would love to see who's listening, who's out there, and where you are all from. Well, let's get stuck into our episode today where I introduce our amazing guest, Kristen Porter. So today we have a special guest on the podcast, Kristen Porter. Welcome to the podcast, Kristen.
Thanks for having me, Carolee. I've been looking forward to our chat for a little while.
Yeah, so Kristen and I have known each other for a while. She came through, I think, first Scalable Business Lounge and then Accelerator. She is an incredible law firm owner, but not only that, Kristen has gone on to start a marketing agency as well. So I would love for you to talk to us about your law firm, where you're located, and then about Zenovate.
So my law firm, I think, like a lot of people, was born out of necessity. I hadn't actually planned on launching a firm. I was in-house for a large real estate group, like a house of brands. They had several different brands that they operated under. And essentially what happened whilst I was in-house is that group decided to focus back to the Canberra market, and I helped them divest of all of their other brands. And I was like, well, you're not going to need an in-house legal team. So I had actually already started an incorporated legal practice on the side. I was building legal bots. I was just having a bit of fun. And that's why the quirky name Oh No Legal, like it suited that kind of environment. And so when I was faced with, well, do I go get a job? I'd had a few in-house roles. I decided, you know what? No, I'm going to start my own firm. And at the time, I had a business coach who really encouraged me to niche down. And I thought at the time, well, I know in-house counsels and I know real estate agents. So I thought, well, let's go down the real estate route. I actually had a scarcity mindset, and I thought there wouldn't be enough work. I honestly thought this wouldn't work, but I was paying a lot of money to a coach and thought, okay, well, I'll give it a shot, and then I'll tell them, you know, it didn't work out. But they were right. It did work out. And essentially what we did is we flipped the script, because I'm local to Canberra. So instead of providing corporate commercial services, that's what we do, to all industries in Canberra, I went, well, let's just focus on real estate agencies, but let's go Australia-wide, because the Canberra market's not that big, and yet conflicted out pretty quickly. And so we started in March 2020. We all know what happened then. But I think because we are an online firm, COVID really did help us, because I think people were used to wanting to see their lawyers in an office. But even my local Canberra clients now say, oh, do I have to come in? Can we do a Zoom? So that's really cool. So that's where the firm started. And for a very, very long time, I've wanted to be in marketing. I went to uni to get my marketing degree, and my mum thought I'd make a good lawyer. And so I went down that path, and I've absolutely loved being a lawyer. Don't get me wrong. But having done all my own marketing for the last 5 years, and going back to that first love of like when I was at high school, business studies, marketing, and what I did at uni, I went, you know what, this is what I really, really want to be doing. I want to be helping other law firm owners with their digital marketing and their growth, essentially. So that's where the new business, Zenovate Marketing, started from.
That's awesome. And so let's talk about your journey in your own law firm. It's grown pretty quickly in a short period of time. And so would you say that that is due to the marketing efforts that you put into the law firm?
Yeah, definitely. Our law firm growth is totally dependent on our digital marketing. We're only now bringing in some local strategies. So again, we kind of flipped the script, and instead of just going for referrals and other things, I had to out of necessity actually. So because I was still in-house working for this real estate group in Canberra, and my bosses at the time said, look, we totally understand that you want to go and set something up for when you're not going to have a job here, but you can't work for any of our local competitors. So I couldn't just go to in-person networking events. I had to get a bit creative. And that's why we started digital marketing, because you can have really broad reach. You can go, well, for law firms Australia-wide, you can go way further than that, obviously. So it was kind of out of necessity that I had to get a bit more creative. And we started off really with list building. For those who don't know what list building is, it's essentially building up a database of your ideal clients. So collecting their email addresses, making sure you nurture them. And we did that primarily through lead magnets, so free downloadables, and webinars worked really well in my practice area. So we kind of doubled down on that, built our list. We didn't actually introduce any paid advertising until about year 3. I think everything else was done organically, especially what I call leveraging other people's lists. So I reached out, a bit like referrers, I reached out to other people that service the real estate industry, like other coaches, for example. We'd create a freebie that had a lot of valuable information in it, and they would distribute it for us. I remember the first one we sent out, I think it was a privacy checklist. It was actually pretty boring. It wasn't sexy, nothing like that. And one of the coaches sent it out, and we had 100 leads in the first hour.
Wow, that's amazing.
Blew my mind.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it absolutely blew my mind.
That is so cool.
So that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like one of the things that I talk to law firm owners about as they're starting their firms is that they often only rely on a handful of referrers. And so you were forced to really do the opposite to that, because you couldn't go out into your referrer market because you were still in-house for the other real estate business. So you were forced to go out into the wider market and use digital marketing, which is amazing, because a lot of people put their digital marketing in the back burner because they're relying on a handful of referrals, but then they're wondering why their firm isn't really growing. So when it comes to digital marketing and marketing agencies, sometimes as a law firm owner, it's really hard to know who to trust and who to rely on and what you're looking for and all of that kind of thing. Is that one of the reasons that Zenovate sort of exists, to support law firm owners in that journey so that you can be a trusted source?
Yeah, absolutely. And before I built up my in-house capacity, because I was still on the tools, I was doing some of the marketing, but also wanted a life. So I wasn't working all the time. Before we built our in-house capacity, I was outsourcing, to social media agencies, someone else to help the blogs and other things like that. And they just never got it. They never got what it is to run a law firm. They didn't understand that if you say something in a particular way, we actually can't do that in legal land. Changing a couple of words here and there can actually change the entire meaning. Like as lawyers, we know that. We even know if you move a comma, it can change a whole sentence. But a lot of digital marketers just didn't get it. And I was spending so much time just redoing all their work. Then I went, oh, bugger this. So I bought it in-house, and I think it was a student at the time. She was a bit like me, dual qualified in marketing and law. And so she was helping on some legal stuff and some marketing stuff. But I've just felt once we brought her in-house, it just became easier because, again, we're lawyers, we know how to write legal content, but without it being too legalese. When we write content, we want to make sure that the average person can understand it and read it. We don't want to sound pompous or anything like that, put law on a pedestal. We want to make it accessible. So it was kind of out of that need. I went, there's not that many people out there delivering these types of services just to law firms, especially when it comes to the content writing and really understanding what we can and can't say out there.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the other frustrating things that I find as a law firm owner trying to find a digital marketing agency, you sort of don't really, like, they're just selling, say, ads or just selling SEO. And so they don't really do all of the background research, which is then why you get a terrible result and you're spending like $3,000 or $4,000 a month on SEO. But they're not understanding who your ideal client is, and they're not understanding what problems you actually solve. And as law firm owners, often we aren't digging deep enough into that either, which is what we do in the Scalable Business Lounge. We focus a lot on that. But when you are onboarding clients into your process and with your packages, you do that, don't you, in Zenovate? That's part of what you're offering. So can you talk us through that?
To get the best ROI, I think, on your marketing spend, you do need to do that deep work. Yes, we do ads, but to us, it's almost at the end of the process. I think there's a lot of low-hanging fruit that we can all attack through what we call the organic approach, which is not the paid ads, because as you know, Carolee, as soon as you turn the ads off, your leads dry up. So we want to still have a marketing machine that operates without ads. Ads just kind of amplifies it. Also, if we don't know exactly who we serve, in just saying we help small business owners, that's not enough. We need to know who we serve, where do they hang out, what's their problem, how can we transform that? Because then we can target them. And you can get a much better ROI instead of trying to, target all of Australia. The better analogy is, back in the day, you might go down to the Rotary group, and that's where people hung out, or by the soccer field. When you do the deep brand positioning work and really understanding your ideal client, you start to learn where they hang out digitally as well. And also what messaging is going to attract them. So a lot of us focus on design and our logo and our colours, which is fantastic because that makes us look professional. It shows who we are. But it's copy that actually sells and converts. So it's actually the words we use. So that's why I'm really big on copywriting, on brand positioning, to make sure, one, we cut through the noise, two, we find out where people are hanging out, because we can target them easier. And then your leads, like your cost per lead, goes down dramatically. But also what happens is they're better quality leads because you're now talking to the right people. I don't know about you, Carolee, but I hear a lot of law firm owners talking about, well, I'm getting all these leads in through like Google ads, but they're rubbish. Like, we're not converting many of them. They're tire kickers is what I hear a lot of. But when we do the brand positioning, yes, you'll still get some tire kickers. I'm not saying it's going to solve all the world's problems, but they're few and far between, if that makes sense. So you're not wasting your time or your money.
Yeah, and so that is a massive waste of time, right? Like in my law firm, we used to spend all of Monday morning ringing around trying to capture the leads that we'd got over the weekend, and all just falling flat. And that's 5 hours of wasted resource in your reception. Or if you're a solo practitioner, you might be caught on the phone call several times a week with a tire kicker for 20 minutes at a time, and they're never going to retain. And that's deep work that you're not doing and not able to charge for. So yeah, definitely. So back to the niching, which I find really interesting, because a lot of law firm owners are very scared to niche, especially in those early stages. They start their website. On their website, they put that they, do all of these things. And I'll hop on a call with a law firm owner and they'll say, oh, we only practice family law. But I've just seen their website and they've got like a list of like 10 things that they do. And so to me, what that's doing is it's diluting your message and diluting who you're actually helping. And with your firm, it's extremely niche. Real estate agents, just real estate agents for all their corporate work. And so talk to me further about niching and the importance of niching when it comes to your marketing.
Niching makes the whole practice easier. I used to feel like I was treading water when I was servicing a heap of industries. I was always trying to learn bits and you can't on-charge it and all those sorts of things. But when you niche, practice becomes easier because you become a deep expert in that area, but your marketing is just so much easier because instead of saying we do everything, which is saying you do nothing, you can really target your advertising. So, for example, when I first started out, I joined some property management specific Facebook groups because I knew real estate was my target instead of trying to go really broad. And now those groups actually, people now tag me in them. And, we send them a link to a blog or a link to a discovery call and we can get work through that. Something else is that other people that service those clients will see you as the expert. So people will feel really confident referring to you because you understand that industry really deeply. And even when I first started in the real estate space, it hadn't occurred to me, I know this now, but it hadn't occurred to me, there's actually multiple ideal client profiles within real estate. Mm-hmm. So the biggest two are sales principles and property management principles, and they're very different personality profiles. The property managers need to be across legislation. They have to go to ACAT or NCAT or QCAT, wherever you are. So they're much more detail-oriented and they want to know how everything's done, why things work a particular way. And the messaging to them is very different to a sales agent who usually, when I'm on a call with them, they're on Zoom, on their phone, in their car, driving to an appraisal. They're much more high level and they just say, Kristen, here's the money, just do it for me. Whereas property managers, because they are a little bit more detail-oriented, often they want me to give them the tools so they can go do it themselves. And so that's why our firm, yes, we have our custom legal services, as in like a normal law firm, but we also have other digital offerings. We have an online template store, we have a membership, and we also have courses. So I find even within my niche, there's still different ideal client profiles, and they want different things. They want services delivered differently.
Yeah, and I think one of the fears about niching as well is that people worry that if they're too niche, then they won't get these other types of work. How have you found that in your firm? So even if you're niching right down in your marketing, are you still experiencing that you're getting other great work within the niche that you're looking for?
Yes and no. Early on, I accepted a lot of work from referrers in other areas, and we still do if it's a really good referrer or family friend or something like that. And we are now having more inquiries within our niche for different service lines. And so we're looking, like, for example, we're corporate commercial, we do employment, IP, privacy, all those sorts of things. We're now getting a lot of inquiry from real estate agents about property development work and things like that. So we are looking at now bringing in other service lines, but to the same niche. So essentially the old sell more things to the same people approach is what we're looking at. And so we've got a plan for the next 12 to 24 months about some other service lines we are going to bring in. But again, just focused on the real estate agency niche though.
Yeah. And so with your law firm, and now you've started Zenovate, which is marketing for lawyers or law firm owners, was it easy to decide when you decided to do your marketing agency that you were just going to work for law firm owners?
At the moment, I haven't niched Zenovate as quickly as I did with Ono. So we're helping professional service business owners at the moment. I think the natural niche is law firm owners, and I think it's where I really thrive and really enjoy work. Because we've got a lot of real estate clients with the law firm, they're asking how we can help them. So I'm actually in the process at the moment of really determining what is the niche going to be. We launched at LawBizCon in May. So we're still very, very early on. And this time I didn't want to niche as quickly. I thought I'd spend the first 12 months working out what we're really good at, how we can really help people, and their niche down from there. So I'm not doing it as quickly this time, if it makes sense, but I very much believe in the power of the niche, and we will end up in a niche, and I have a feeling it will just be helping law firm owners, but we'll see where we end up.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting journey, isn't it? Because it ends up sort of being, what am I really like good at? Who do I really love working with? And where can I really make a difference? Yeah, absolutely. And I think you were similar when you started Scalable. Yes.
Finding your niche over time. And I think 90% of our clients are law firm owners, which I'm absolutely loving helping.
Yeah, I was the same. I went out in the market to help professionals grow their and scale their businesses. And I think partly that came from a lack of confidence about putting myself out there just for law firm owners. But I think deep down, I really did want to help that law firm owner, like if I was being really honest with myself. But I was scared of actually going, I'm an expert at how to scale a law firm. Come and, I can help you to do that. Whereas now I look back and I think that just seems so silly. But you have to go through those journeys in your practice. And, I'm helping law firm owners every day go through those journeys about what they are charging themselves out at. And they have all sorts of excuses and reasons in their mind why they're only charging $350 an hour or $4 an hour, or $400 an hour, or whatever it might be. Or it's the same with the niching, like why you're an expert and you should just be helping that one person. I think it's definitely a self-discovery journey as much as who do I actually really like working for and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I definitely went through that, and I wish that I niched quicker and had that confidence, faster. I've actually recently been cleaning a whole lot of stuff out, and I've found all these like journals and diaries and things where I've scribbled so much stuff down. It's really interesting reading it all back and sort of seeing where my mindset was at. But I'm very glad I grew past that.
It's also good though, I think, I moved house recently. So I found some of the old journals with sketches and ideas and all the things. I think it's good to pull those out occasionally and reflect, because I don't know if you're like me. I think a lot of us lawyers, we're always looking to the next thing. We don't necessarily celebrate the wins as they come. And so I think looking back at where you started and, where you've got to now is really, really important. And I know I don't do it very well.
Yeah, it is important. So I was recently in one of my accelerator groups where one of the clients in the group were talking about how they had employed you in Zenovate to help them with their marketing. And she was so excited about the process that you took her through. Can you explain a little bit about that process and what someone might expect, a law firm owner might expect if they came to Zenovate to help them with their marketing?
Yeah, so the process we go to when we're doing the brand positioning, it is quite simple. We've developed some very law firm specific worksheets that we work through, but essentially we start with, what work do you like doing? It's some really basic stuff that we don't really think about. What work do you like doing? Is it profitable? And who do you like doing the work for? Like, if you could just work for one type of person, then we go through in detail, okay, actually give that person a name. Like, actually think of your favorite person. His name, your favorite client might be Tom. And we go through exactly all different personality traits. But I think that the biggest, most important thing we do there is we go, okay, well, what are Tom's pain points when he comes to you? Really drilling into that. Then what I then go away and do what the transformation is for each of those pain points. And when we talk about transformations, okay, well, they've come to you in some kind of pain or situation. We're lawyers, we like to help people. How are we helping them? And what's the outcome we're actually getting for them? But we don't articulate that very well very often. And then from there, I go away and create like the unique selling position. Why are we different to other people? How can we articulate it really well? I write hooks. I do a heap of different copy. What I found originally when I was creating the firm is I would get really cranky at my external marketing people for getting stuff wrong. Then I realised I was the problem. I wasn't giving clear enough instructions, especially when it came to the words I wanted people to use. So I created what I call a copy Bible, which has all the words, not just words we use, because sometimes when people do just their visual brand, they might say, oh, these are the types of words we use and these are the words we don't use. But I mean like full sentences, transformation statements that the external people can just pick up and pull out. And so to me, being a word nerd, and I think a lot of us lawyers are word nerds, I love getting deep into that copy, that transformation. And so the end product is essentially this amazing copy Bible. We then go and update the website and all the social media accounts to make sure the messaging is consistent, because there's no point in doing the exercise if we don't put it out there. And it might sound simple, and a lot of the questions we go through, they're quite simple questions, but the way we massage it, like I said before, design and images might stop someone's scroll or make you look professional, but it's the words that will make people work with you. That's what converts people. So that's why we spend so much time on the brand positioning and the copy, the words we use. Because then also when you go just to do your organic social media or you do your blogs, or like we said before, we then do ads, we then know what words work for your target audience. So it doesn't take long then to create the ads or create all the assets that you need when you do want to actually go and do ads or other forms of marketing. Sorry, I get a bit nerdy over my copy, but I've found that is what's moved the needle the most, especially my law firm, is just really articulating who you serve, how you do it, the results that people are going to get. And then it's also a no-brainer then for when referrers want to refer work, because you're the clear person.
Yeah, that's right.
It's really clear then.
So you're not just doing people's digital work, digital marketing. No. You're also helping them to establish and helping them in confidence to establish their brand authority and being like the go-to person. Which is so important. So, we talk about that a lot in scalable law, and it's one of our pillars is becoming a person who's like a key person of influence in your legal niche. The go-to, we want to see your face on some digital, marketing, and we want to go, oh, that's the person you need to see if you are going through X or if you need X result. So that's what you're helping people do. I think that's so awesome. And then once they do that deep work with you, and then you guys are using that in marketing, they've got that deep work that now exists for everything that they do, right? Yeah, absolutely. Because then you can just roll it out for anything. So that particular client that we're talking about that's helping from your group, she's got some opportunities to speak at some conferences. So we're making sure all the assets are ready for that conference, but now she can get up and really say, this is who we serve. And what I found with our law firm, now people ask us to speak at events. They ask us to come in and do training because we positioned ourselves as that go-to authority, like you said, in our particular niche. And that's exactly what we're doing to help our clients with. So they're not just a choice in the niche, they're the choice. Yeah. And also I think that helps law firm owners to work out where they're best spend their time and also their money. And because, if you're going to be asked to go and speak at something, you want it to benefit your law firm, right? And so sometimes people get asked to go and speak at something and it's really going to not move the needle forward for them at all because it's off topic or off niche. So I think being that clear really helps with that. And it also really helps with when people come to you asking you, will you sponsor this, or will you, put your sign up at the soccer field, or will you, whatever it might be, and spend a lot of money with my marketing, whatever I'm selling. We want to make sure that it's going to actually be useful for the firm. Oh, absolutely. And when I first started the firm, then I'd go speak at anything, but then I very quickly realised that where I was spending my time, like even within the real estate niche, it's like, oh, it's a real estate conference, I'll go speak at that.
But then I realised there was no real estate agency owners in the room. It was frontline staff, which is fine if you're a long burn. Those people might eventually have their own agency or office. But yeah, then it's like, okay, well, which are the conferences that the business owners are at? That's where I need to be. So yeah, even drilling down within your niche, making sure you're in front of the right people and at the right time as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what's forward or ahead for Ono and also Zenovate? You've got lots going on. Ono's like standing on its own 2 feet, a great law firm serving and a great niche and community. And then you've got Zenovate, which is a new baby business, and you'll be going through all of those new startup things all over again. But what's sort of ahead, say, in the next 12 months?
So the next 12 months, massive exercise with Ono Legal is we're rebranding. The name served a purpose and the branding when we first started, especially because we were building legal bots and we're a little bit quirky, but it doesn't really reflect the high-end services that we do provide. So that's going to be fun. We're midway through working out the name and the colour palette and all those sort of things, and the positioning won't change.
Choosing a name is hard, isn't it?
And then you think you're a marketing genius, you come up with a name and it's taken. So anyway, so that's taken about 3 or 4 months, but we're close on that. We're also really going to be focusing on a membership model, so the reoccurring revenue, because I don't know about you and a lot of firm owners, but it's the lumpy cash flow that really stresses me out. So we're going to be focusing on that recurring revenue model. And there'll be some other service lines because we're bringing in a couple of other very senior practitioners, and they've got some really cool experience in some other spaces, but still serving the same niche. And Zenovate, going through all of our baby growing pains, learning a lot. But for now, wanting to really remain a boutique practice or boutique agency. Don't have grand visions to take over the world. I would much rather a handful of clients that we do deep, meaningful work with and get real results, rather than a cookie cutter kind of agency that just kind of brings you in, churns you out. That's definitely not us. So really focusing on our client service and our client journey, and bedding all that down properly, because the client experience means everything to us.
Yeah, it sounds like you have got a exciting year ahead with both businesses, which is awesome. And yeah, rebranding is definitely a journey to go through. I rebranded my law firm back in around 2018 or something like that. And it was actually not as big a deal as I thought. And it felt really like a struggle, but then once it was all done, it was just so easy. And yeah, and then you sort of wonder, like, how much does the name really matter? I don't know.
Yeah, with my firm, a few people have thought, because Ono Legal's O*NO, as in, oh no, like, but a few people have thought the asterisk was a swear word. So I went, okay, yeah, that's not really what I was trying to put down. So, and again, it just doesn't reflect the services we provide now. So I definitely don't recommend rebranding just because you feel like rebranding. Like, there's got to be a real purpose to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and that was the case with me too. I wanted to move it away from my name to something more generic, thinking about an exit and down the track and all that kind of stuff. So it served a great purpose. Well, it's been awesome having you on the podcast. We could talk for hours about marketing because it's something that both Kristen and I are really passionate about when it comes to law firm ownership. And it's such an important part of law firm ownership, which a lot of law firm owners really struggle with, because where do you stick your money? Who do you trust? What should you be doing? You need more clients, but how do you get them and how do you make it so that it's consistent and quality? So yeah, it's definitely a big topic, and I would love to talk more about it. So if anyone wants to find you at Zenovate, how would they find you?
You can follow me personally on Instagram and TikTok. I'm the Lawyer Marketer. Otherwise, Zenovate Marketing on all the platforms as well. You can reach out to us there. Would love to continue conversations offline.
Yeah, and on LinkedIn, Kristen Porter.
Kristen Porter.
And
Yes.
also, the other thing too that you have been offering of late is in Zenovate is some webinars for law firm owners. I've had some of my clients from Scalable Law attend some of your webinars, and they have been really loving what you offer. So how often are you offering a webinar, and how would someone know about those? Like, is there a mailing list they can go on or something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. We're doing roughly once a month. We're doing free webinars. The last one we just did was about all Google algorithms changes. I think actually we're about to launch a resources tab on our website where you can watch previous webinars on demand. And also we'll be putting the next live webinar there. We do have a mailing list. If you want to get on the mailing list, you can just email us at hello@zenovatemarketing.com.au. Otherwise, there's a form on our website if you want to get on the mailing list, and then you'll always be the first to know because spaces are actually limited in the webinars. But yeah, again, it's loving my marketing. It's a great list building tool for those that want to run webinars themselves. But yeah, feel free to come along. I think our next one is on content that converts.
Yeah, awesome. Well, it's been great having you on the podcast, and I'm sure that we'll have you as a guest in the future again. See you then.
It's been great. It's been great chatting to you. Thanks, Carolee.
Thank you for listening to the Scalable Law podcast, brought to you by the Scalable Business Lounge. If you would love to know how you can get more clients without relying on referrals, head over to scalablelaw.com to watch my free masterclass. Until next time, you have got this.